Sup peeps, Crypto Enigma here. And obviously, like everyone else, I too am currently entrapped in my house during this planet-wide pandemic. And despite the uncertainty of potentially losing my house or, witnessing the collapse of all social order, I'm actually doing pretty okay. And it's partly because of this beautiful little game here, Animal Crossing. I've been playing it excessively since it was released, and I'm noticing while I'm sharing things on social media that the age old controversy surrounding the time traveling exploit has once again been rekindled. And so, this is actually what the video is going to be about today. This is the topic of today's video. Is time traveling in Animal Crossing okay? And I want to be perfectly clear here. I completely support time traveling. I am of the opinion that it is entirely okay to cheat in Animal Crossing in terms of this time traveling exploit. I do it myself. I think it's okay to do. I support it. I encourage people to do it if this is something they were thinking of doing. And I want to explain why cheating in Animal Crossing, why time traveling in Animal Crossing should not only be accepted within the community as a genuine way to play the game, but also explain why ultimately this entire discussion of time traveling, this entire controversy, is really truly a complete and utter non-issue. Now, I'm sure we all know what time traveling is, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching the video, but for the sake of clarity, time traveling is when you manipulate the Switch's time settings to either move forward or backward any number of days within the game for basically an unlimited number of times. And so this practice is generally frowned upon by the community, and I honestly don't understand it. See, this is a single player game in which your progress does not affect anyone else whatsoever at all. Whatever you do in your island has no effect on the way anyone else plays their game or anything. So what I want to know is since when did cheating in single players, just for the sake of entertaining yourself, since when did cheating in these types of games become malpractice? At what point did it become wrong to cheat in fucking video games when it was literally like standard practice back in the day? When I was a kid, there used to be no issue with this. There was no controversy over cheating in single player games. I remember, in fact, having these gaming related magazines, and I would like every month, they would add these cheats to the back pages, and I remember looking for cheats, and not just that, but I mean way back in the day too, the IGN website, man. I don't know, I haven't visited in a while, but back in the day, basically the only reason I checked it out was so that I could look at the cheat section. So my point is, I used to cheat to nearly every single game that I ever owned. This was something that was widely accepted. In fact, cheating in video games was basically encouraged because of the type of content that you can unlock when you did decide to enter these codes. And so, for all intents and purposes, cheating was basically a way for a player to get more enjoyment out of whatever particular game they were playing. And so here, this is the thing. Whenever you're discussing this topic of time traveling, one common line of reasoning that you'll hear is that if you time travel, you will actually, or there is a potential for you to ruin your experience with the game. And see, this is what I just can't agree with, because again, cheating or time traveling in this case is done precisely because players get more enjoyment out of the game when they do decide to do this. It isn't that people are doing this because they kind of just want to see what time traveling might be like, and they kind of just want to try it out for themselves. It's the fact is, people are doing this because they enjoy the game and they would like to bypass certain features of the game to be able to enjoy it even more so. They don't want to wait an entire day in real time to be able to continue playing. So people time travel in order to continue playing the damn game. It's faulty logic here to say that if you enter these codes, you're going to ruin your experience with the game, when the very reason, well, I'm sorry, not enter the code, but well, you get what I meant. If it's faulty logic to say that if you time travel, you will ruin your experience with the game, or there is a potential to do so, when the very reason that people do it to begin with is that they want to enhance their experience with the game. It's too slow, in other words, or at least that's my reason for doing it. And there are numerous other reasons why people decide to time travel. However, the common theme between all of these reasons is that at the end of it, people decide to do this because they find the game more enjoyable when they do it. This $60 game that they paid for is more fun to them when they decide to time travel. And so it is also argued that, you can ruin the experience by basically finishing the game too quickly, and I will address that point at a later part of the video. But my overall point right now is that the reason people time travel, the reason people cheat in not only Animal Crossing but in any other game where nowadays you are allowed to cheat, the reason people do it is precisely because it makes the game, the video game, more fun. Again, that is the entire point of doing it. Cheating, or time traveling in this case, is a way for the player to get more enjoyment out of the game, to have more fun with the game. Cheating has always been a way for a player to become more invested with whatever particular game they were playing. And I just want to take a moment to point out that irony, that the people who argue against time traveling do so and claim that doing it will or can potentially ruin your experience with the game, when in fact the very reason that people do it to begin with is precisely to enhance the experience with the game. And this brings me to my next point, and this is something that kind of grinds my gears a little, being that the people who discourage time traveling argue that, generally speaking, you're allowed to play however you want. They don't have a problem with time traveling, but they discourage it, and they then suggest that you'd probably enjoy the game a little bit more if you play it the way they do, or as they say, the way it was intended to be played. And they'll say things like, you don't have to cheat if you run out of daily things to do. You can go fishing, you can go, increase your Nook miles, or go catch bugs or something. And that line of reasoning is entirely based on the completely false premise that everyone enjoys playing games the same way. Their argument hinges on the idea that you would enjoy playing Animal Crossing the same way they do. And the fact is, I don't. I find doing those things just repetitive. I find them boring. I don't want to go fishing when I could be, just beautifying my island. I don't care to catch any bugs. I have the museum. I turn some things in occasionally, but for the most part, I don't want to run around the island looking for fossils. I don't care to catch any bugs or any fishes. That's not what, god damn it. That's not why I play the game. It is a game in which you can create, and so I want to exercise my creativity. That is why I play Animal Crossing. I don't care to do all those other, little extra things that you can do while you're waiting for another day in real time to continue creating. That's not why I play it. That's not what I find entertaining about the game. And so my overall point here is, why can't I bypass those in-game features that I find boring for the purpose of making the game more enjoyable for myself, if I am not affecting anyone else? If I am allowed to do it, the developers literally don't have a problem with it, why then can't I do it if this is something that would make the game more enjoyable for me? I mean, sure, technically that isn't the way the game was intended to be played. However, if time traveling makes the game more entertaining for me, why then can't I do that instead of having to, tolerate these features that I find boring. Again, this is my island. I am doing something that has no effect on anyone else whatsoever at all, and something that only enhances my experience with the game. So that entire line of reasoning that you would probably enjoy the game a little bit more if you play it the way it was intended, or play it the way basically non-time travelers play it, is just it's just not true. It just isn't true, and it doesn't apply to everyone, because the fact of the matter is, some people find the way the game was intended to be played just not as enjoyable. People don't want to wait a full day in real time to be able to continue playing the game. And not just that, but it can actually be an issue. I mean, if you're trying to move a property and you put it accidentally in the wrong place, if by accident you accidentally tap your joystick and it moves one space to the left, you have to pay the money again and wait another full day to be able to move the that same property that you were trying to do. And so my point is that it's not true when people say that, or when they suggest that playing it the way it was intended to be played is the way that you can maximize your enjoyment with it or whatever. Because another thing that I hear is that you aren't supposed to rush through the game, because it's meant to be a relaxing game, and you're supposed to enjoy its relaxing nature. And so it's argued that part of the game's appeal is that it's played in real time, because if you play it day by day, at some point in the future you can look back and marvel at your progress. And so it's like it's implied that it's supposed to like reflect our real life, and the hard day-to-day struggles, or the day-to-day effort that we put in our real lives, and then that at some point in the future we can look back on and be proud of. And it's a beautiful analogy, but the fact is, I don't care to look at the game that way. It's just something I don't want to do. I don't care to look at Animal Crossing as my virtual life, basically. In fact, that is precisely the reason why I decide to time travel, and I'm sure many others feel the same way. It is precisely because in my day-to-day life, I have to get up every morning, work a little bit, make a little bit of money, and repeat that process until I'm 70. It's precisely because of that reason that I get on Animal Crossing and I make millions in 5 minutes. Okay, it's precisely because I want to escape the mediocrity of my normal life that I get on fucking Animal Crossing. And I'm basically, a king in my own fucking island. I want to feel that way. I cheat so that I can make millions of dollars in Animal Crossing, so that I can live in a fucking house that I don't have. That is the reason why I do it. That's the reason why it's fun to me. I like to walk around in my make-believe island feeling like a fucking billionaire king or some shit. And I want to walk around, hand out money bags to my villagers. I want to give everyone, I want to live in a fucking utopia that I obviously don't live in my normal fucking life. That is the reason why I do it. And so, I'm not trying to replicate the bullshit that I have to deal with every day in Animal Crossing. That is why I cheat, because it's fun, because it's I'm in my little make-believe island, and I don't want to replicate my daily struggles in this fucking paradise where I can basically do whatever I want. Okay, that is why I do it. I don't want to go fishing instead of making millions of fucking dollars. I don't want to go catch butterflies when I can be manipulating time and space to progress in my own fucking utopia. And so that's honestly the whole fucking point here, that if anything, I invest more time in this game than you probably think I do, because I cheat. It is because I decide to time travel that I am enjoying Animal Crossing as much as I am. And see, what people fail to understand is that the drive in doing this isn't to progress through the game in as fast as possible. It isn't so that we can do as much as we can in as little time as possible. But the drive here, the incentive, is creating. It is a game to create. It is something that I like to do in the game. And so the motivation is to bring the vision that I have in my mind for my island to fruition. That is the whole point of the game, to create a beautiful island, and that is the motivation here. That is the motivation. We time travel so that we can create these beautiful visions that we have for our islands, and in doing that, we progress through the game at a much faster pace than other people, because that is just something that we want to do. That is the reason I play Animal Crossing again. It's because of its creative aspect. It isn't so that I can, complete my museum. It is so that I can experience its relaxing nature and fucking, replicate the daily bullshit that I have to deal with. It is a game in which you create, and I want to create as much as possible in the game. And so I want people to understand that quickly progressing through the game isn't something that time travelers are intentionally doing, but it is because they are enjoying the game more so, and they are motivated by their creative visions, that they decide to time travel, and in doing so, they just happen to progress through the game a lot faster. And this actually brings me to my final point. And again, people argue that this game shouldn't be rushed through. And so what I say to that is, at least in my case, how long do you expect me to play this game? I mean, I get that there are yearly events, but do you expect... It's currently... what fucking month is it? It's currently April. And... I mean, do you expect me to still be playing this game in October? Do you expect me to still be playing this game in December? I understand there are yearly events, but honestly, it's just something that I don't care for. I mean, I probably will be popping in and out throughout the year, but I don't want to still be playing. I don't want to have a lot to do by even September or whatever. It's not something that I care for. And in fact, I understand there haven't been any new game announcements. We've kind of had a bit of a drought with the Nintendo Directs and all, but eventually there will be new game announcements, and I would like my schedule free. And so that's basically it. If you can argue that you might progress the game too quickly and spoil it for yourself, but that is just something that I don't care for, and I think that people aren't considering that. They aren't considering other people's opinions. And so when they argue that you might ruin the game because you'll progress too fast through it, a lot of those people just don't understand that a lot of us don't care to take our time with the game, precisely because we don't particularly intend to spend very much time with it. And again, as soon as if a good game is announced, next month, I am going to rush through this game even faster. So it's just honestly not even an argument, because at the end of the day, what people decide to do with their games is ultimately none of your business and doesn't affect you whatsoever at all. So if this is something that people want to do, if people want to time travel to make the game more enjoyable for themselves, then that is completely their prerogative, and that is why ultimately this discussion is completely irrelevant, because it doesn't affect you. And this is something that makes the game more enjoyable to them. This is something that enhances their experience with the game. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with time traveling. If you want to do it, I encourage you to do it. I support you if you do it. I do it myself. It is fun. I like to cheat. I encourage you to cheat, people. Anyone watching this video, go cheat in Animal Crossing. If anyone asks why you're cheating, tell them Crypto Enigma told you to cheat. I support it. I like it. I encourage you. Cheating is fun. Yeah. Hey kids, go cheat in Animal Crossing. Do it right now, everyone. Stop what you're doing and go cheat in Animal Crossing, because it's okay to do it. It's fun. Alright? It's your game. You paid $60 for it. Go do it. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. I genuinely mean that. Leave a comment. I am really interested to hear what people have to say about this. So leave a comment, and again, thank you for watching. Mwah.